Keeps the left shoulder loose for balance. She's on the receive to start off this best-of-7 match. Will help off the top of the net with the backhand opening spin shot. Kasumi takes the first point. Now, while in other places on the World Tour, there's not quite as much of a home court advantage, the crowd is definitely favoring Liu Shiwen here. A second fortunate point, this one for a second bounce on the table. There's the high toss serve. It's that parallel backhand shot. Soft spin. Change the pace from Ishikawa. Now, I had a chance to see the men's doubles where Tomokazu Harimoto and Yuto Kizukuri of Japan, the young couple, or partnered team, I guess I should say, beat Fan Zhendong and Shushin. And one of the key ingredients was the change of pace. Miu Hirano, Misaki Morizono there in front of Kim In-soon, Yang Hoon's mother, former player from Korea. Another edge. Kasumi Ishikawa, bold shot. It's funny, the first lucky shot was not quite as lucky as the second one, and this one was the least of them all, but still, it factors in. First point for Liu Shiwen, taking advantage of Ishikawa a little bit behind the table, the softer, spinny shots that sit up high. And at the first break of the game, for the towel break, Ishikawa goes to the towel. Liu Shiwen there, giving some encouragement to Liu Shiwen. Remember, head-to-head, Liu Shiwen has not lost a match on the World Tour to Ishikawa. 7-0. Ishikawa with some very short strokes here to cover from the middle. Turns for the forehand. But Liu Shiwen just a little bit deeper to the backhand side. The amount of topspin Liu Shiwen can generate from such a short stroke makes it very tough for Ishikawa to stay on top of the ball. 3 in a row, Liu Shiwen making a run back into the game. For Ishikawa, change of pace is going to be crucial, of course, the placement. But from taking a little pace off the ball, soft, spinny one, we haven't seen the inside-out forehand yet. There it is. After the backhand's deep to the table, turns the corner, plays it inside out, and you can see Yang Hoon right there in the background behind Miu Hirano discussing with her mother and coach the tactics being used out here. From videos to seeing it live in person, analyzing the game is such an important part of preparation for these players, even if they're preparing for the next tournament. Middle to middle, down the middle of the table. Liu Shiwen just down by 2. Again, what's it been now? 4 out of the last 5 points have gone to Liu Shiwen. She was down 0-5 just a blink ago. These are the types of points that start the rallies that get nominated for the Star Awards. Liu Shiwen and Kasumi Ishikawa in 2015 at the Women's World Cup, Sendai, Japan, had rallies of that caliber that went on 3 times as long, even faster. This is Liu Shiwen's game. She's so quick to recover. How many does it take? I think 3 forehands there killed by Ishikawa. Finally, one doesn't come back. She's having to turn very quickly. She waits centered, racket straight up, and manages to get those forehands in. She's shortening up her stroke a bit. This is going to be one of the key ingredients a lot of people have hope for Liu Shiwen being a threat to the top Chinese players. But Kasumi Ishikawa is still the top player by world ranking in Japan. And even though she's a little bit older than some of her other Japanese teammates, she's still improving her game. And it's those short counter strokes that are going to do it. Liu Shiwen off the bounce, anticipates the forehand. Ishikawa up by 3. In the early points of the game, Kasumi Ishikawa couldn't miss. And the backhand was quite helpful, but the forehand has been the ingredient that's been finishing the point for Ishikawa. Little break off the top of the net, but a much faster backhand. Ishikawa knows she has the length of the table here. First shot spinny and slower, then she's got the long cross court shot, so she plays the drive deeper, much faster. A little bit more margin for error, more confident shot from Ishikawa. Middle of the table has been Liu Shiwen's when it's backhand to backhand. Interesting that Ishikawa decides to use the backhand from the forehand side on that shot, especially with the percentage of points that she's won using the forehand. 2 quick points for Liu Shiwen. Ishikawa, I don't know if we've seen a long serve deep to the backhand. A bit more centered on the table, right at the middle. You can see her elbow there on the middle line. And it does not pay off. Liu Shiwen, like a hawk, reads the ball coming off the table, gets the opening attack, and it's too powerful. 3 points in a row. Remember, Ishikawa was up 9-5. Second serve here. Much safer serve, little shorter on the table as Ishikawa earns 2 game points at the 3rd towel break. Liu Shiwen staying at the table. Ishikawa taking the moment to dry off and think. Again, it does give you a little bit of a break. So Liu Shiwen now with 2 serves if she can get to the second one. A little bit late turning for the forehand, well placed to the middle. Liu Shiwen saves a game point. Again, that ball would have hit Kasumi Ishikawa square in the belly if she hadn't gotten out of the way. Reaction time. Turning for that forehand. Let's see, game point still to Ishikawa. What a shot deep to the corner. Ishikawa backed off the table, comes right back in to get aggressive, and when the time and the pressure builds, Liu Shiwen plays it to the very deepest corner of the table on the backhand side. 5-0 and 9-5. Ishikawa really is going to need to take this game. Again, if history repeats, it's going to be Liu Shiwen who wins this match. Whenever you're the underdog, taking the first game is so important. 10-10, but for Ishikawa, it might have to be 0-0 in the head. Long, deep push from the forehand side into the backhand. A big point as Coach Mika Baba encourages Ishikawa. Coach Mika Baba, a very vocal coach. That's a fast push. The ball sits up a little bit. Very rare you see such an aggressive push, especially against a ball high enough that you could attack or flip. Game point. And it's the forehand that does it. The 3rd attempt at game point for Ishikawa, and she comes back to save the game. 12-10. What an exciting game 1. We'll be back for game 2 right after this. One can get the first forehand in the rally. It's to her advantage. And if she plays backhand to backhand, the middle of the table, and on the backhand side, she's more effective. And that's the strongest flip I've seen, and I can't remember how long, from Ishikawa. We just watched a flip battle back and forth between Feng Tianwei and Sun Yingxia. Deep to the backhand. backhand once again as Liu Shiwen gets into the quick exchange. Look how short that last stroke was from Ishikawa, but a little hole on the backhand side, and Liu Shiwen finds it. This is the second point in a row that we've seen that short stroke forehand from the middle from Ishikawa. And even though it's a very efficient stroke, Liu Shiwen's quick on top of the bounce for the next ball to play the wide angle. So a very different start from game one, where Liu Shiwen was trailing 0-5 before coming back to 4-6. We've seen a variety of backhand openers from Ishikawa. Trying to spin deep on the table has gone long a few times so far in this game. Look at this. Steps around the Chiquita down the line. Very confident receive there. The Kasumi Ishikawa fan club in the crowd. Now you might think they're covering their faces because we're here in China and they don't want to be seen as rooting for the opponent, but the trend is to do the same. Even the Liu Shiwen fans like covering their faces with the signs, showing who they favor, who their idols are. Shovel serve with some underspin. Liu Shiwen a bit surprised there. Ishikawa really forced to lunge to get to that backhand and try to get back for one more. See how fast that ball was spinning off the net as Liu Shiwen tries to rope it down the line. She's getting a little faster in her footwork. Or maybe the steps, the lunges are just getting longer. Liu Shiwen trying to calm herself. You could see in the body language she was not happy with that backhand opening spin shot. The wrist trying to spin it up. Even in the second time she showed her rehearsal, it was more of a drive motion, more of a forward aggressive backhand attempt. Perfect length on the serve from Ishikawa. Liu Shiwen was waiting, looking for that opening backhand attack and couldn't take it. Look at all that spin. The face of Ishikawa, the determination after the moment of contact. The fiercest face we've seen from Ishikawa. The precision of her serves. That's 3 points in a row after a 2-point run from early on in the game. Was down 1-4 and then 3-6 to tie it up. Second towel break of the game. Now Liu Shiwen, of course, one of the top players, the top two players in the world, has been back and forth between 2 and 1, although Ding Ning has held down the spot for some time now. But as pressure really builds, we've seen Liu Shiwen have some trouble. Against Feng Tianwei in 2010 at the World Championships when Singapore beat China. The last time China has lost in the team event at the World Championships. 2010, that was for the women. Before that was 2000 for the men versus Sweden. Ever since then, we've seen some trouble here and there with Liu Shiwen under pressure. Oh, another edge for Kasumi Ishikawa. It's a best-of-7 match, so there's definitely some time for table tennis karma to come into play out here, for things to balance out a bit. Liu Shiwen does a good job, though, of not being too frustrated about it. Acknowledges that she can't control that. It's part of the game. Stays focused. And again, Liu Shiwen. Some of the other players here in the crowd, Yang Hoon behind her, watching closely. Now Kasumi Ishikawa's got the blue sponge on the forehand. This is typically Chinese rubber. It's very rare to see that for players not from China. Before the match started, Liu Shiwen was looking at the racket, and without really thinking about it, I naturally assumed it was hers because of the blue sponge, the Chinese rubber on the forehand side. Typically the Chinese rubber a bit tackier, heavier, and harder. The ball doesn't go very fast in the short game. It stays very dead. But with a full stroke in the rallies, the tack and the spin is very high. So the arc of the ball is a little bit different. The counter attempt goes long, 2 points. Liu Shiwen recovers. Ball just sits up a little too high, and Ishikawa, she's starting to back up, has trouble staying on top of the ball. It is difficult when moving backwards to stay forward and on top of the ball.
Let line at.
Well played in the middle. Ishikawa caught an indecision, and the last 3 points have gone to Liu Shiwen. From down 7-8, she now has 2 game points at the third towel break of the game. Gets a third ball off the table, but cannot connect for the down-the-line forehand. 11-8, Liu Shiwen takes game 2, and it's green on the receive. Kasumi Ishikawa from Japan, the left-handed player with the serve, being outscored by 1 point right now, 21-20. There's the power. Now this is the forehand that was responsible for, if I had to guess, about 75% of the points in game 1. Something close to that. At least the points that went to the way of Kasumi Ishikawa. Cool to see Sakyawan, Mima Ito in the background there at the top of the screen before. Perfectly placed serve right at the back edge. Gets some hesitation and a very cautious attempt from Ishikawa. Ooh, Ishikawa was caught in that position when the ball was hit behind her, going for the catch with the free hand. It's a very fortunate, I'd say, point for Ishikawa to take. And we've seen this frustration with the forehand, the quick shots down the line from Ishikawa. Last game around 8-8 as well. Liu Shiwen practicing that forehand stroke. The drive in the rally. Beautiful placement. Ishikawa waits till the last moment to show where she goes. And there's Mima Ito with her practice partner and coach next to him. Coach Matsuzaki, that's his younger brother, 10 years younger, who's been the practice and sparring partner for Mima Ito since last week in Japan. Top edge of the racket for Ishikawa, and it goes long. Now we see shots sometimes come down on the table off the edge of the racket. Yesterday, Mima Ito versus Ding Ning. Shot right off the edge of the racket, down the line, a bullet, and Ding Ning just stares her down. Couldn't believe that the shot went in. Not this time for Ishikawa.
3, 4.
Excellent change of placement out to the forehand side. Quick off the bounce. Ishikawa in the counter. Now, while Liu Shiwen has a strong forehand, if it's not to the middle, it's a little wider, it's going to take her a little bit longer to get the racket out so far. Get back for the swing. Ooh, the angle! The step around Kasumi Ishikawa's signature. We've only seen an inside-out forehand one other time I can recall in this match, but this was the step around, the real wide cross-court shot, first time in the match. Can even see and hear the difference in the forehand rubber Ishikawa's using. The ball stays a little lower on the bounce, a little harder sound and feel. 4-point lead for Ishikawa. While she couldn't take game 2, taking a 2-1 lead could really inhibit the personality and I'd say the freedom that Liu Shiwen feels, her attitude at the table.
4-7.
Going for the flip kill, shot goes long. 7 points is a good amount compared to 3, but a way to go from 11. Big point right here for Ishikawa to maintain that 4-point lead, get it back. A little bit surprised Liu Shiwen played that last backhand softer. This could be a sign that she's hesitating a bit. Perfect placement on the last ball as Ishikawa right into the middle. This was interesting. The serve that Ishikawa brings to the table does not get her the third ball she would have hoped for. But she manages to get back into the point with the rally in the backhand side, and it's a timeout for Ishikawa. She's already over in the corner talking to Mika Baba. Now I'm watching the same screen as you at home, so it was a surprise to me to look up and realize Kasumi Ishikawa was back in the corner. Now I'm curious, when Ishikawa serves, she had a 4-point lead rather, and lost the last 2 points from 7-3 to 8-4, and now to 8-6. One thing we haven't seen a lot of in the service game from Ishikawa is that shovel serve that's been so effective for Miu Hirano and many players from the Chinese national team. So many of the young Japanese women as well practicing the serve. And Godsu, they say, similar. You can see the hand motion of Mika Baba right there on that serve. Could also be addressing the receive. One thing for Ishikawa, if she can do it like Miu Hirano, where the ball kicks with top and side spin to mix it up. The first time she pulled out that serve against Liu Shiwen, she got her to dump the serve into the net, didn't read the underspin with the heavy side spin. Again, not necessarily how much underspin is on the ball to earn the net receive, simply disguising it by throwing a lot of side spin in there to leave question as to what spin is coming with the side spin. Little break off the top of the net from Liu Shiwen as she apologizes, but comes within 1 point. Breaking the timeout. That's 3 points in a row for Liu Shiwen. Make that 4, big backhand out to the forehand side, and it's tied up. Now this is tough. You have a timeout if it's called when your opponent has the serves. Really, you're just preparing to be essentially guessing at what's coming from the serve of your opponent. If you have the timeout on your serve, you get to dictate the point a little bit more from the start. You're the one who initiates. We'll see what comes out here. Big break here. Kasumi Ishikawa gets a third ball long, takes the full forehand stroke, and it adds to the pressure that Liu Shiwen is moving to the backhand corner on the receive, or ready for that third ball attack. It means that Ishikawa's going to have to play a more precise and even faster shot. We see this a lot where players get anxious. Might see a shovel serve here. And we do a big point, but a very humble, quiet chole from Ishikawa as she stays focused at the third towel break of the game. This is quite similar to yesterday versus, let's see, it was, look back here for a minute at the draw. Liu Shiwen versus Hina Hayata was down 6-9 in game 3 and managed to come back. Just going too wide on the last backhand. Very solid play from Ishikawa, but Liu Shiwen gets every single one of them back. She's so quick to cover and take the ball off the bounce. Game point to Liu Shiwen with her serve. Nice change of pace from Ishikawa as she looks Liu Shiwen right in the eyes for her jaw. Just thinking about the difference in experience and age. Liu Shiwen, 26 years old. Kasumi Ishikawa, 24. So Liu Shiwen, 2 years the senior. Just missing the contact there. When you think about experience, experience really pays off in these tight moments. But Ishikawa's gaining experience more and more, and it looks like we're going to have a shovel serve. She's at the middle of the table for it. What a recovery. The ball sits up and Ishikawa blasts it to the backhand, and magically Liu Shiwen's right there to cover and bring it back. That was a huge point. Second game point for Liu Shiwen. And she takes it. Very impressive performance from Liu Kasumi Ishikawa, but this is the life of a professional athlete. We see it all the time. You can't win every game, and you can get a strong lead early in a game. So Ishikawa's going to do a job here, her best job, to move forward, put the past behind her. Starts off game 4 strong. And Liu Shiwen moving a bit more to the middle of the table. To start off with the serve, it looks like she's back in the backhand corner now for a more traditional service location. Beautiful point from the start, and Liu Shiwen prevails. So impressive in these quick rallies down the line. There was a net ball early on in the point that Ishikawa recovered, but that parallel forehand we haven't seen come into play successfully so much for Ishikawa in this match. Little break there for Liu Shiwen. Too strong on that opening receive. The wide angle catches Ishikawa off guard. Again, the element of surprise at this level is so important. And as a receiver, that is your job. Surprise the server. Don't give them a third ball that they expect, because they already have a plan for that. Surprise again, short side of the table as Liu Shiwen plays it out wide to the forehand. Jayo Liu Shiwen, says the crowd. Cheering her on, add oil, go for it. Fast long serve to the backhand. Was wondering why we didn't see a few of these. Kasumi Ishikawa has a lot of service variation. He's quite a bold player, but it's a risky serve to the short side of the table. But I think this is one of the most valuable serves. For a right-handed player to serve to a left-handed player, and vice versa, for a left-handed player to serve to a right-handed player, deep to the backhand, from the backhand corner. Does not come down, net clamp. Most dominant performance we've seen from Liu Shiwen so far in this match. The long push, we remember Ishikawa using that very effectively earlier on in the match, and now it's Liu Shiwen who gives it right back. Again, a dart-like, deep, fast push. And a more floating push there. Not quite as fast from Ishikawa, but deep on the table. Liu Shiwen doesn't lift enough. So she goes for it. This is the idea, but it takes a little bit long. The ball sits a little high. That fast long to the backhand serve. Very difficult to execute. Once again, the parallel forehand does not land. I think this will be a valuable shot for Ishikawa if she can start putting it down on the table. The idea is right. It's 8 game points for Liu Shiwen. Oh, beautiful backhand receive right off the bounce. That's one way to do it, to exploit the open forehand. Step around for the Chiquita. Now, as far as technique, wise man once told me technique is whatever works. And Ishikawa's tried many times down the line with that forehand, and it hasn't landed. So she switches it up and plays it, changes the pattern, goes for the length of the table. Five more games will close out this game. To get another point or two, I wouldn't be surprised to see a timeout here. Guarantee it. Heavy backspin, well read is Liu. Back for game number 5. Kasumi Ishikawa trailing 1-3 with the serve. Nice use of side and topspin. Takes it from the middle, brushes around the side of the ball. Liu Shiwen replaying the last 2 shots. It's not the first time we've seen her miss a shot and then rehearse by driving forward more, being more aggressive in her shadow boxing there, her shadow rehearsal. The shadow cho maybe could be the term here. Liu Shiwen fan club. Back edge of the table for Ishikawa. That's what she says, a quick sorry. Oh, Liu Shiwen says no, it didn't. So I guess not. Liu Shiwen definitely closer to that, and a very fair player. She would completely confirm that it hit the back edge if it did. Ishikawa thought it did. Umpire and Liu Shiwen did not. Completely fooled on the serve. The highest receive we've seen yet. Liu Shiwen, really, look at the face. That is the effort face to the fullest, putting the power on that ball. Ishikawa got Liu Shiwen up on her toes, really to come around the middle of this ball, out of position with that shot. But it's the next one right here that's placed to the forehand side of the middle, causing some trouble for Ishikawa. Much like last game, Liu Shiwen very much in control. First towel break, and Ishikawa with a quick wipe, down 1-5 right now. Change of direction from Liu Shiwen to win the points. Trying to read the little writing there on the fan signs. We know we have signs for Kasumi Ishikawa as well as Liu Shiwen here in the crowd. Oh, dribbler off the top of the net. Rolls across. Bit of fortune, game not out of reach. Look at this one more time, just sits on the top of the net. Surprising way to win a point. On the chase, Ishikawa softly brings it back, spins it back deep on the table. The change of pace. See a little bit of caution in the play of Liu Shiwen. Now the speed off the bounce as Ishikawa takes the point. Soft and spinny, but that cross-court backhand, she's already ready to turn the corner. Liu Shiwen's able to cover and play that down the line to the forehand side. It's going to be tough for Ishikawa to reach. Outstanding point, and the effort prevails. It pays off as Liu Shiwen, approved of by Sun-Ying Hsia. Again, Sun-Ying Hsia waiting for the winner of this match, which is looking like it will be Liu Shiwen. This is something the world has not seen. Sun-Ying Hsia versus Liu Shiwen will be a real test for the 16-year-old if it happens. Beautiful off the bounce turnaround as Liu Shiwen takes a point for a 4-point lead. The 4-point lead that Kasumi Ishikawa had earlier before Liu Shiwen came back in game 3. Remember, 7-3 and 8-4 Ishikawa led in game 3. Could have been the most pivotal turning point, the plot twist of this overall story. Well-placed serve and the receive indecision. Trying for that side swiping receive. Very difficult to do with the forehand, especially against a left-handed player. Oh, beautiful follow-up backhand. A little fortune off the net, but still not an easy shot for Ishikawa. Softer ball, plays it right on the white of the line. Just a 2-point lead now for Liu Shiwen. 8-6 with the serves.
Let assist.
Grunt for grunt, the backhand into the body, and Kasumi Ishikawa pleasing her teammates there in the crowd. Liu Shiwen started to move over to the forehand side. And hand then the body, she's like, calm down, ball, just chill. See the hand motion there in slow-mo. Obviously not her intention, just trying to turn the body to get out of the way. Play the forehand from the middle. Big break. Liu Shiwen needed this point to hang on to her lead. That would have been 4 in a row for Ishikawa. Still anybody's game. Spin for spin on the backhand side. Ishikawa changing it up. The combination where she plays the spinny backhand and follows up with the cross-court backhand drive wide. It's been very effective. Let's see what she brings out here for the high toss serve. Soft and spinny. She's on one foot completely out of position, and Ishikawa manages to save the point.